it was amazing the way the whole Brandy introduction started off between all of us. There used to be a restaurant, Kemp. I'm going to go back a little bit. I know you're too young for all this. There used to be a restaurant in Los Angeles, California called Georgia's. Okay. Georgia's was it was the premier, one of the premier soul food restaurants. So one night, they used to have Thursdays and Friday nights always popping. So one of those nights, we were there, and we came across Brandy. And we were just fans of each other. Brandy had kept a tab on us in our earlier production years, and, she was just a fan. So the scene had got a bit packed. So we said, you know what, let's leave Georgia's, leave the crowd, leave the hype, and let's go to Jerry's Deli. Everybody in L.A. know what Jerry's Deli is. We went to Jerry's Deli. We kicked it almost half the night. I'm talking about click from hello, and we just kicked it. And the next week, we ended up in the studio together making music. It was beautiful.
Wow. Okay, so Never Say Never. A lot of people, credit Dark Child for just an amazing chemistry with Brandy. Can you take us back to those days of being in the studio with Brandy and creating those vocal arrangements? I mean, you guys are known for those background vocals and those vocal arrangements. Let's talk about that.
Well, let me tell you something, Kim. I have to be 100% honest, and I appreciate all the love. Everybody that knows me know that vocal production is something that is near and dear to my heart. So when I write these records, I count it a privilege to be able to get in with the artist and, just paint the picture the way we see it. But with Brandy, the way that took place, Brandy's talent, Brandy's tone, I think is one of the things that separates her today. I mean, when we went in to actually start cutting vocals on some of the songs we had written, it's just her tone and her talent just increased mine. So together, we just came up with some of the most outlandish, awkward things that you can possibly do while recording vocals. And I just have to say, it was the chemistry between her and I, sitting there in that studio, doing the vocals. Of course, Rodney and everybody was there and around, but when it came down to, we crunched so hard. While we were doing vocals on one song, Rodney was downstairs creating another song. So the long time that we had to do these vocals, her chemistry, her talent, her tone, I mean, when that girl is in the booth, it just speaks to you. You know what I mean? So you're able to go, your mind will go places you won't normally go because you're dealing with a force and a talent right in front of you that just is not the ordinary. So you're allowed to create and think up and come up with things that's just amazing. And I got to say, if it wasn't, for her tone, her voice, and, the way she did things, I don't believe none of that stuff would have came out the way it did. It's just, she was the paint and we were the canvas.
Wow. Look, preaching up in here, big shiz. If you guys just tuned in to TKIF, we are here with, of course, songwriter, singer, too. We can't forget about that. Producer.
Lightweight.
And reality TV star, Lashawn Daniels, is finally here. Lashawn, so, you were just talking about Never Say Never. Let's talk about her classic album. So many people credit this album as her height, Full Moon. Let's talk about when you guys went in to create that album.
Wow. When we went into Full Moon, we fully transitioned to Miami, Florida. We shut out a spot called Criteria Hit Factory, and we had the spot. Thank God for people like Craig Cowman, who is still the head of Atlantic Records. And just, it's just, he trusted us. I can't forget Paris Davis, who was Brandy's A&R at the time, who paved the way for us. They literally locked us in the studio and said, have fun, do what you guys do. So we were able to lock down Criteria Hit Factory, Miami, Florida. Now, mind you, we all at the time were just slightly out of our teens. And, we had access to studio. We had access to food. I mean, we just had a great time. We were able to really live the album. So it wasn't, one song here, one song there. We were able to sit, sleep, think, vibe with each other for days upon days to just put together the map that we felt would project her artistry the best. And, I think that's why, even going back to the Never Say Never album, Never Say Never and Full Moon, I think those albums, sonically, lyrically, everything, every aspect of music was just perfect because we had a chance to physically live with each other's and live with each other's gifts. You know, when we locked in to do Full Moon, we didn't sleep.
Wow.
We did not sleep, you know, and we didn't want to sleep. You know what I mean? We just locked in and created great records. We were there, we fooled, we clowned, we did a bunch of stuff together. It was just amazing. And Full Moon was the birth child of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it sounds like it.
Most definitely. I mean, everyone goes back to that album as one of her best albums of her career. And you know, Brandy had some ups and downs in her career. Have you heard her new album, 211? And what are your thoughts on it?
I have not heard the entire album in its entirety. Brandy called me in early on to do some vocal production with her. And, you know, of course, you know, whenever she calls, I'm there, you know, absolutely. You know, times change, you know, things change. So we move and shake a bit differently. But when she called me to do the songs that I did do, you know, I was a fan of them. I loved them. I think with Brandy and, of course, we're living in a different day as far as record sales and all of that type of stuff. But like I said to you a minute ago, Kemp, we were able to camp out and physically live with each other to create these albums. You know what I mean? And like I told you right before that, her gift, her talent is what spoke to us. I think, you know, with the newest projects, you know, people were just fans of her old work. And there was no innovation, you know, when it comes to Brandy. Brandy is like a freaking, let me tell you something, she can take over the world if she's vibed out the correct way. And I think a lot of people are, you know, they didn't push the envelope as much as I would like, but the songs that I did hear and the songs that I was a part of doing the vocal production, I think she sounded amazing, and she did great.
Which songs were you a part of?
She sounded great. Wow. You gonna put me on blast like
That's
that, Kemp?
Right.
I can't
Let's go. Because I know the fans, I'm listening to the fans. The fans are saying, oh, so what song did you work on?
I did the vocal production. Now, of course, you guys know when we go in and do records, they're under working titles. So I'm not sure what the finished product title is, but I know it's the Frank Ocean record. The record that Frank Ocean had written. Right. Right. And I did the vocals for that, and that night was just, you know, again, and I have to be careful. I think one of my gifts is I'm able to separate myself when it comes to her, because I can, you know, I can listen to the song beforehand and say, okay, is this a great record? You have to be careful with Brandy, because whatever she sings is going to be amazing. So she can very well sing a whack record, and the record is amazing. You know what I mean? So you have to analyze the record before she gets on it, because she's going to make everything sound good. So is it Scared of Beautiful? Is that the name of the title? The final product? Scared of Beautiful. I love the record. I was a Frank Ocean fan. You know what I mean? The record was amazing. We went in and did a great job with it.
Lashawn Daniels, first of all, I mean, we're not going to spend the entire night talking about Brandy, because you've worked with so many artists, but I knew that the Brandy fans that listen to the show wanted to know about those sessions. Was there a session, you know, something from either Never Say Never or Full Moon that stood out to you, like a memory that you have?
Well, Kemp, anybody that knows me knows that I am super low-key. And the song Like This,
which we just
when you just played that record. In the bridge, I did, you know, of course we did reference things in creating the record. When the bridge came about, there are some vocals that I had just, you know, on the reference part of it. And we left them there. And they weren't supposed to make the full album or the final album, but I was shocked as I don't know what, when the record came out and those vocals were still there. If y'all know, hear the dude singing in the bridge, that's me. So, I mean, that was one of the best times, because when we talked about it afterwards, Brandy was just like, you know, I really think you should stay, like, people should know. She actually, at one point, was talking about us doing a duet, but ain't nobody, you know, I don't do that. I stay in my lane. I think that's why everybody likes to work with me. Like, and I applaud the artists, the songwriters who are artists and, you know, have to do their thing. But I'm a songwriter, you know what I mean? Like, I can't, today I feel like I can't stand up on the stage with Brandy when it's time to sing. Are you serious? She will smash me. But, you know, that time was amazing, because she's like, Shiz, I really think, you know, they should be there. Like, you added an element to the record, and I just think the world should know and all that. So that part was really touching for me, because it let me know she respect what I did. You know what I mean? And, that part, people come up to me, and it's amazing how your fans find out about it, because people hit me up all the time saying, is that you singing on it? And I kind of deny it sometimes. But, I let the world know tonight, that it is
on
me.
that song. Well, LaShawn, we're gonna move off of Brandy, but
Okay.
you know that the big, and not feud, but the divorce in music between her and Rodney. I know
Right.
you're a part of that. Do you
Right.
think that they will ever come together musically again?
Well, let me say this. Anything is possible. Anything is possible. Even, when you grow in music, you grow. Even grass grows. You know what I mean? And, a lot of time when we first started, we were young. You know what I mean? Not to negate all the magic that we created together, but, we've grown. And when you grow, you start to see things a bit differently. You start to move in your own direction. And nobody is mad at that. It's what you have to do. But I can't say that it will never happen again. You know what I mean? I'm not sure. Rodney and I remain great friends. Rodney and I don't work together as much anymore. But nothing is impossible, Nothing is impossible, because what I do know is Rodney respects Brandy and Brandy respects Rodney.